Welcome to another episode of Canobie Corcksrew, 120 Years of Fun. This is an episode of the Canobie Corksrew. So the Corksrew was at the park 1987 to 2021 season. So the beginning of the winter of 2022, they finally tore down Corksrew, and I think they might use that land for Castaway Island, expand the water park. That's what I think. There's no confirmation about that yet. But I think I'm right about that Castaway Island. I'm thinking about Hurricane Harbor. That's Six Flags. Sorry, Castaway Island expansion. But back to the episode. So Corksrew began its life at the old Chicago theme park near Chicago. We're gonna bring you back in time. So this is old Chicago. So old Chicago opened 1975 to 1981. And they built the old Chicago Loop, called the Chicago Loop. That's the Canobie Corksrew. So the Chicago Loop was brand new. This was the second corkscrew coaster in the country. Knott's Berry Farm built the first corkscrew, and Old Chicago built the second corkscrew. It's the Old Chicago, aka Canobie Corksrew. So it started off from Old Chicago. So this is the Chicago Loop. So this was an indoor amusement park, open all year round. So this was one of the major popular rides at that time. So this is the map of the old Chicago Loop. So this is the map of the coaster. So people having fun on the old Chicago Loop. There's another picture of the Chicago Loop. So this park is big. This is a big amusement park. So this is old Chicago Loop. Chicago Loop. I keep on saying old Chicago. But the Chicago Loop was getting built in 1975. There's a brand new Chicago Loop in operation. There's the old Chicago Loop again. There's the drop, part of the corkscrew. You can see the Chicago Loop in the background. There's the famous yellow trains that I love the color of. is a drawing of the Chicago Loop. So the coaster was right at Old Chicago. In 1978, they made a movie called Furry, and the old Chicago Loop was featured in that movie. So if y'all want to check that, if y'all want to see the Canobie Corkscrew in the movie, check out Furry. It was featured in the movie. So 1980, Old Chicago closed down because Great America now today has Six Flags Great America, but at the time Mario bought Great America. So Great America was brand new, so they won the competition over Old Chicago. So when Old Chicago closed down, Corkscrew got sold off, got auctioned off. So the Old Chicago Loop went to Alabama Fairgrounds in 1981. So this is Alabama State Fairgrounds. So 1981, they auctioned the Old Chicago Loop to Alabama State Fairgrounds. So 1982, they opened the coaster. So the coaster operated from 1982 to 1986. So they renamed it to the Magic Express. So this is the brand new roller coaster at the fairgrounds. So this is the second location. So a lot of people rode this ride during them years. So in 1986, in Alabama State Fairgrounds, they sold it to Canobie Lake Park. So Canobie Lake Park bought it in 1987. So 1987, Canobie Lake Park went to the town of Salem. They wanted approval to build this coaster. But Salem told them they had to approve it. So Canobie Lake Park, the three owners of the family who own Canobie Lake Park as of today, the owners kept the tracks and the supports in the background, at the backyard. I mean, so the coaster was in the backyard for 3 years, from 1987 to 1988 to 1989. So the coaster tracks was in the backyards for 3 years. So they finally got the town approval from Salem. Salem finally approved it. So they stopped building the ride in 1990. Oh, yeah. 1990. So 1990, they built the corkscrew, because I remember seeing it getting built in 1990. So corkscrew was open like late in that summertime, 'Cause I was like one of the first guests riding it. So 1991, they advertised the ride as brand new ride in 91. 1991, they advertised as new. So I remember the ride operator said, before y'all ride this coaster, y'all gotta take y'all earrings off. Because every time you ride this ride, your head gonna bang into the restraints. So that's one of the rules on this coaster. You take your earrings off. So all my cousins, my mom, my aunts, always had to take their earrings off to ride this coaster. So the early '90s, and they painted the coaster from white to yellow and black. So in the early '90s to the mid '90s, it kept it black and yellow. So 1995, they painted the supports gray. So this is 1995 and 1996 and 1997. They have the support gray and yellow. So this is 1997. So 1997 is still gray and yellow. So they had it in the early 2000s. It's gray and yellow. So like towards mid '90s and towards the early 2000s, it had the support gray. Like I said, 1997, they had a lot of trees at the park. And this is where Corkscrew's at. It looks so different. It's 1997. There's no trees. It's a Corkscrew with the gray supports. 1997. So 2007, they decided to bring back the old colors, black and yellow. So they repainted the trains. The trains used to be black and yellow. One time they had a gray train. Now they planted trees around the Corkscrew. Now they had large trees on the Corkscrew. So now it looks different from 1997 to 2007. 10 years went by and the whole area looks different with grown trees now. I always loved the designs of the trains. So this is his design. When the Corkscrew came out in 1991, the Corkscrew has its own commercial. I got footage of that commercial. I'm trying to look for that commercial. So stay tuned whenever upload the old video of the commercial. Hope I can find it. So 2013, they painted the Corkscrew white and blue to thing with Castaway Island. So this color is nice. See, the trees grew around the Corkscrew. So 1997, there's no trees around. Now in 2007 to 13, they had a lot of trees around the coaster. So over the years, Corkscrew was getting a little bit rough. But I still love the coaster because I know, like, I learned how to ride this ride. So every time I rode it, I never got no head banging or no headache. So I still rode it. So like 2000 and 2020 is my last time I rode a Corkscrew. So I rode it, and I never knew it was gonna be my last time riding it. Like I didn't know they're gonna retire this coaster. 2020 was my last time I rode this ride. So 2021, Corkscrew never opened. So opening day, I saw the tracks was the Corkscrew got welded. So I think it was gonna open last year, but it never opened. So the end of the mid mid midsummer of 2021, Canobie make an announcement. They said Corkscrew gonna retire. So 2022 came. They finally removed the Corkscrew around February. So Corkscrew got torn down. Now, right now, there's an empty plot of land. So, the support holders are still there, but they might gonna start taking it out, and part of the station's still there, but they might gonna start taking it out during the off season. So they're gonna plan for something big in the future. I think gonna be expansion of the Castaway Island water park. I think gonna be some slides and a wave pool coming into that land. That's a big piece of land, right in a Corkscrew spot. You can fit a lot of slides in there. So this is another episode of Canobie Lake 120 Years of Fun. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. See y'all in the next episode.